Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday
Y'all get ready,
Experience.
get
We're
up.
so glad you're here.
All right, let's go.
Your soul is welcome. We're going to sing.
All right, all right, all right, all right. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Y'all ready? Have a good service today, y'all. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Do you feel a cooling trend when you walked in here?
Compared to outside, yes.
Yes. So on that note of a cooling trend, I want to welcome you in all the love, in all the joy, and in the beauty of this spiritual community, Spiritual Life Center. And we know that you are never here by accident. Whether this is your first time with us today, or whether you've been here, you've been in, you've been out, and you're just here today, we are always here by divine appointment. And we're so glad you kept your appointment today. And that appointment is to express beautifully that we are here to love, to serve, and to remember. And whether you're sitting right here or you're live streaming, you're always welcome. And you're always welcome when you walk in the door or before or now to reach into your purse or your pocket or your wrist or your eyeglasses and turn off any electronic device.
And that creates a clear pathway to commune with the presence of God. So let us take a moment to come under His government and guidance, to breathe in and breathe out and be totally here in this moment. And we realize that as we allow this presence to have its way with us, we'll be guided to do what we're here to do. Because we're listening with spiritual ears. We're speaking from the consciousness of the divine that's within each and every one of us. And as we allow ourselves to go on this pathway, our consciousness is lifted up to be one with the one, to such a degree that we can say that when you see me, you see that which has sent me, because all of my actions, all of my thoughts, all of my behavior is in alignment with the highest and best of who and what I've come here to be. So we're grateful to be these vessels and vehicles of the present as we go forth, multiplying the all good in the name and the nature of the Spirit of God. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
And this week we have a very special presentation for our Wow Wednesday. It's featuring our own beautiful soul, Paula Mandela, our music director. And this is what she is going to share with you. It's going to be called Head, Heart, and Hands, and it's a correlation of her introduction to the Great Invocation, her motto for the Waldorf teachings, and how she expresses the mission of SLC. So she's going to weave a beautiful talk for you, and likely maybe something musical as well. So join us for that amazing program, and that's, of course, after the salad at 6. The program begins at 7.
And of course, we have wonderful opportunities to be of service here at Spiritual Life Center. And we have a special announcement from Leslie, who's going to share a little bit about that.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Leslie, and I am on the facilities team. And this is a happening place here at SLC. This building, these buildings are used 7 days a week. There are people here at daytime and nighttime. So we have janitorial service on Wednesdays and Sundays, but it's once a year we need some tender, loving care and deep cleaning given to our buildings. So the opportunity is this Saturday, and we have a team already. The sign-up sheet out there has one person on it, but that's our second sheet. Okay, so you're not signing up to do this alone. So that is this Saturday. It will be all indoors, so even if it's hot, it will be comfortable. And we provide refreshments. It's mostly cleaning kitchens, some furniture polishing, getting fingerprints off doors. See, I'm ready with my gloves. And it's fun to talk with people while we work. Now, the next opportunity we have is the Summer Splash. And for that, you get to do something more regal than cleaning. You can provide hors d'oeuvres, pass around hors d'oeuvres, and this is especially fun if you like short conversations. And then again, in September, we have a more expanded opportunity to serve with our gala. Now, I am pleased to announce that our chef, Cheryl, has a dedicated team who has committed to spending 8 hours helping her. So her team is complete, but we still need people for auction items, registrations, checkout, and hors d'oeuvre serving. So volunteering is one of the best ways to feel like you belong to a community. As an Air Force kid and spouse, wherever I was new, I just said, okay, where can I volunteer? And then people really think you belong way before you feel like you belong. So please join us. I have a sign-up sheet outside, and I can answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie.
And I think that sign-up sheet's at the welcome table. Is that correct? Okay. And there's all kinds of sign-up sheets there, so there's lots of things to do.
Also, this morning, we'd like to welcome one of our tithing recipients. Is that where we are now?
She's on her way, and while she's on her way up, I want to remind everybody that we have a town hall meeting on July 8th at 12:45, and you're not going to want to miss all the information that's packed into what exciting things are coming in the second half of 2018. So that's July 8th at 12:45.
And yes, Dakota is one of our longtime prayer chaplains, and, youth services sharer today.
Okay. Well, hello, everybody. For those that you don't know, on my other time, I spend running a nonprofit social service agency that serves children and families. It's called Windspring Family Resource Center. And I've been happy to say that SLC has, over the years, contributed greatly to the quality of services we provide in many different ways. So it would take a long time to explain all that we do, but what I'd like to do is present a core treatment philosophy that we have. We believe our children need more than just a safe place to live and a comfortable, nurturing circumstances. We believe that they need 3 core conditions. The first one is to belong. Children coming out of their families in particular, or coming from families of violence, oftentimes don't know where they belong, culturally, or in a family, or in the community. And so our staff and our foster parents work diligently on that task, like first thing when they come in. The second core condition is to feel unique and special, not just feel like, well, you belong because you're just like everybody else, but no, you belong through being unique and special. And every year at the holiday time, we ask our kids to write down a special wish that they want for the holidays. It's not about the toys, not about the clothing. It's about someone listening to their requests, someone recognizing that there's something special about them. And that's where SLC comes in. This community has been so generous at taking our kids' names and giving them that special moment, sometimes even writing letters. Very, very important. We could not do that on our own. We operate on a shoestring. The last part of that core condition is that kids need to feel a sense of contribution to their community, to their family. That's part of what gives them the tenacity to continue on in their lives. So we want them to be able to contribute, to find ways that are meaningful, that they make a difference. And so that comes to today. Today, the kids and the families from SLC are giving back by providing the refreshments to all of you as a way of saying thank you. Thank you for all that you do for them. Thank you for recognizing that they're special. So when you go out there to eat those refreshments, you're once again helping these kids meet another core condition that will help them be healthy and whole. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dakota. So much good stuff going on. And speaking of good stuff, Elaine has some exciting news to share with us about some upcoming events as well.
Well, hello, beautiful souls. How many of you attended any of our 20th anniversary celebrations that started at the beginning of the year? Wow. It's been a whirlwind of our first half of the year, and I wanted to give you a little bit of a snapshot of what to be looking forward to. As you know, our summer splash event is coming up, and we do have in the courtyard, as I promised, the raffle tickets that are now on sale. The first service already's got their first picks in, but it's always going to be the lucky one we pull out. So a reminder, that is a beautiful raffle that's made possible by Claire Kinsley and Robin DeLong. It's 7 nights anywhere in the world that WorldMark goes, and $1,000 cash to help you get there. So don't miss that chance of that raffle. I think your odds are going to be awesome. I think last year it was close to like 1 out of 100 chances to win that amazing trip and cash. So don't miss that opportunity. The other half that I was going to tell you about is, as you know, we've started the year with, at the beginning with our march, as well as our tribute to our founders with Faith's birthday and then Michael Morana's Earth Day. You know of our Summer Splash that will focus on Richard Burdick and Susie, who will be our honored guest. But we are also starting something new in August. How many of you think that Spiritual Life Center is one of the best hidden secrets in the Sacramento area? Yeah? And we're glad to be able to share what we do here and with our classes through live streaming. But we've been thinking a long time about having us out more in the community, bringing about not only our education sessions, but also all the wonderful opportunities of healers and readers and everything else that we do to actually build our relationship with ourselves, with each other, with God, and our planet. So I'm pleased to tell you for the first time, how many of you have heard of Living Expo? That's in San Mateo every 17 years. It has been there for the last 17 years. And in LA, a conference called Living Conscious Expo. It seems that, and both those events are sponsored by little groups like Whole Foods and the city and the local news television station. And they started as 1-day, 2-day events, and they're now 4-day events that exhibitors come from across the United States to be able to share things, and teachers and speakers. I know in San Mateo just a few weeks ago, it was Marianne Williamson and Carolyn Mize and James von Prague, et cetera, et cetera. How exciting would it be to start having an annual conference and expo here in Sacramento? Isn't it time? Yes. Well, how exciting is it that it's going to be sponsored by and co-sponsored by Spiritual Life Center, the Emerging Wisdom Conference and the New Earth Expo. And that is actually on the calendar. It will be just 15 minutes away at the Crown Plaza Hotel. It will be a 2-day event, Saturday, the 11th, August 11th and 12th. And on that Sunday, we're going to take this beautiful energy and move our Sunday service to a one-time 10 a.m. service, and we're going to invite the community to be there. How does that sound about showing up for our 20th anniversary? So we'll have more of flyers, and it will be in our newsletter, and it will be on the website this week. In the next coming weeks, I will be spotlighting the amazing speakers that we're going to be bringing and inviting any of you who have beautiful gifts and talents to exhibit and let the world know about the great talents that you have. So the conference and expo, it's August 11th and 12th. It's a 2-dayer. How many services that day?
One.
What time? August. That's it. I'll see you there. I love you all. It's going to be an amazing second half of the year.
Okay.
So, and you may have noticed something different in your bulletin. Can anybody tell me what's different? It's smaller, it's thinner. So, you know, every Sunday we talk about a spiritual deepening with each other, with our planet. And so this is an expression of that spiritual deepening with our planet. So we're becoming greener and we're becoming leaner in our bulletin. So there's still all the great activities and classes and events that we have to offer, and you can keep those bulletins. Everything is listed in order, and then there are a few inserts that are at the cashier table. So if you absolutely prefer to have a piece of paper to remind you of dates and places and times, you can pick one up. But if you happen to be technical, you can pull out that smart device on silent, and you can record those in your calendar. So either way, we're deepening our expression of being more green at SLC.
And we want to acknowledge a couple of groups of people here this morning, our chaplains and ambassadors, if they would please stand. And the ambassadors are the ones wearing the rainbow ribbons, and they are here to offer a warm welcome and answer questions that you may have about opportunities to be integrated spiritual life center, and they're pointing in the right direction of all of our activities and programs. So we thank them for their service and their presence. And also the chaplains are doing the most important work of holding confidential prayer as we go through this journey, whether the journeys of joy, journeys of challenges along the way, and they're wearing the white stoles, and they're available to pray with you immediately after the service here in the sanctuary or in the courtyard. So we thank them for their prayer consciousness.
And we also happen to have a very special four-legged chaplain. She is in service. She is Eileen Lauer's service dog. And what we want you to know is that she's a working dog. So if you'd like to interact with her, you make eye contact with Eileen first, and then she can release the dog. But the dog is in service. And so that's a great learning curve that we all can be a part of whenever we see service dogs out in the community doing the beautiful work that they're trained to do. And so if you're here for the first time, we're going to ask you to raise your hand in just a moment. We're going to offer you a welcome card, and that welcome card is a wonderful way to connect here at Spiritual Life Center. It's a way to sign up for James' weekly email messages. It's an inspirational weekly message, and also all of those events, classes, and happenings that happen here. So now,
if you're here for the very first time, we just invite you to raise your hand. Any first-timers here this morning?
And we'd love for you to drop that welcome card off at the welcome table.
Well, I guess we're all continuing our presence. But like I say, if you're different today than you were yesterday, then you're new too. So just get up and invite you to greet a friend. You look marvelous. Thank you for your presence. Yeah, and I keep forgetting it.
ready? Here we go. How can I serve today, sweet Spirit? How can I serve today, oh Lord? Speak in ways that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. How can I serve today, sweet Spirit? How can I serve today, oh Lord? Speak in words that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. Who needs my love today, sweet Spirit? Who needs my love today, oh Lord? Speak in words that I will understand. You will lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. Who must I share today, sweet Spirit? How must I share today, oh Lord? Speak in ways that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. Where you lead me, yeah, sweet Spirit. How can I serve today, oh Lord? Speak in words that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. Do it enough, I'll get the rhythm of it, okay?
So, for the last few weeks, we have been starting the practice of speaking together our shadow card and our magnificent card, I guess you would call it, our cue card, when we are expressing at our highest and best. And we have gone through a process with the community where we established together what some of our shadows are and some of our magnificence. And so now we have begun the practice of speaking that together here. So let us do that. Please have compassion for us when we are being not enough, distrusting, grieving, blaming, powerless, and fearful. Because this is who we have come here to be, inspired, in integrity, joy-filled, compassionate, unstoppable, generous, and transformational. That feels nice. Now let's embody these words as we speak together our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions. Weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom, we cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. And now, as we prepare for our meditation, we're going to sing this beautiful chant together. Joy and peace in my heart.
Joy and peace in my heart, always I feel. Joy and peace in my mind, God within revealed. Joy and peace in my life, am healed. Joy and peace in my heart, always I feel. Joy and peace in my mind, God within revealed. Joy and peace in my life, I am healed.
Sing that one more time.
Joy and peace in my heart, always I feel. Joy and peace in my mind, God within revealed. Joy and peace in my life, I am healed.
I'm healed.
I am healed. I am healed.
Joy, peace, healing. As we settle into this time of quiet, breathe naturally. And then just simply be aware of how you relax with each breath. Breathe into the back of your heart. Melt into your seat. Allow your vision to become soft and cloudy. Close your eyes and allow your consciousness to drift into a light daydream and come with me into the spiral of love. In front of you is a hedge-lined path, and a very friendly puppy bounces up to you. She jumps and twirls around a sign that says, "Welcome to the spiral of love." And then she bounces over to you, exuding love and joy as only a puppy can. She makes you laugh, and your heart opens to receive this love. The puppy runs along the path, stopping and looking back as if to say, "Follow me." This path is beautiful. It's lined with hedges and flowers, birds, butterflies, dragonflies. Peace abounds. And as you walk along, you come to the first curve. A small child runs to greet you. The child giggles and reaches up to show you a special toy. As you bend down to look at the toy, the child wraps its arms around your neck and hugs you. Joy and love tingle throughout your entire body. Receiving this love, your heart opens wider. Following the puppy and the child along the path, you laugh with glee as they bounce and run in the pure joy for simply being. As you enter into the next curve, a man and a woman dance into the path. They twirl and spin, exuding love, peace, joy. As they spin around you, sparks fly that resolve into strands of light. And those strands of light spiral around you and into you. Receiving this deep love, your heart opens even wider. By now you are so filled with love that you feel you cannot hold anymore. And still your companions move ahead of you. Their lights of love and joy pull you along. An ethereal being clad in white stands in the middle of the path, arms spread wide. You walk right into those arms, which wrap around you in the purest, most loving embrace you have ever felt. You feel safe and warm. Love and joy permeate your body. Your bones, your cells, your very soul is permeated with love. And you begin to dissolve into light. And still your heart opens wider, immersed in this love, joy, and peace. The being takes you by your hand and leads you around the curve into the center of the spiral. It is all light, clear, holy, pure love. And you melt into this light, and you are one in the divine light. You blend and dance with love and joy, just for being in the silence. You are love. You are joy. Take a breath or two now and receive this blessing as you settle back into your physical body. Oh, my beloved, there is only love. There is always joy. Even when life seems unkind, you can come within, and we are always here, bouncing, dancing, embracing you in love, joy, and peace. Remember this always.
Oh, dear God of love, God Almighty, your people through. Oh, dear God of love, God Almighty, God above, please look down and see your people through. Would you please? I believe the sun and the moon will shine up in the sky when the day is gray out, and I know it's just clouds passing by. Ooh, living acts of kindness turn those gray skies into blue, and doing unto others as you'd have them do to you. I believe, yes, I believe that my God put the sun and the moon up in the sky. Now I really don't mind the gray skies, 'cause I know they're just clouds passing by. Ooh, I'll offer peace and comfort, oh, to every troubled mind. Come Sunday, oh, come Monday, every day's the day. Every day's your day. Yes, it is. Come Sunday, oh, come every day. That's the day. It's the day. Today's your day. Hey, hey, hey.
Thank you.
Oh, today is your day. Every day is your day. because you're in it. I've been away for a couple of weeks. Seems like it's been a long time, but it's good to be back. You know, I take a little time off every once in a while to go apart. And I want to thank Esther and Julie for filling in the last couple of weeks. You know, oftentimes when I go apart, I go on what I call a social media fast, email fast, a phone fast. And the first, day or two, I have withdrawal symptoms and, I'm twitching, trying to reach out for something that's not there because I move it away from me. And after a while, it settles down because it gives me an opportunity just to think. And of course, when I start getting back into the swing of things, I often will look at, the headlines that I missed, last few days, or a week or so. And I don't encourage anyone to do that without being prayed up. But I always looked at, the headlines as really nothing more than the society's prayer requests, as I like to say. They tell us what to pray for. What are the things we need to see from a higher point of view? So we don't have to get caught up with the actual literal interpretations. But there was an interesting thing that took place. It was about the children and being separated from their parents during the asylum process and the controversy surrounding all of that. And, there was one thing one commentator made that kind of made me straighten up and caught me in my tracks. And he said something to the effect, we can justify this because it's not affecting our kids. It's just children from another country. Yeah, I know. It just kind of stopped me in my own tracks at that moment. I realized that not everyone is aware that we're all interconnected on a soul level. That whatever happens to one, whatever we seemingly do to one, really affects all of us because we are one in the Spirit. There's a statement from Ephesians that says, one God of all, who is above all, through all, and in all. And I think many who have any insight at all, and that's most of us here, at some level or another, unless we're absolutely unawake to the world, realize there's a universal song of oneness, a golden thread that moves through and binds all of us together. There's literally that spiritual song, that divine song that reminds us that we all come from the same stuff. We all are connected to the same source. And the Hebrew Bible reminds us in the book of Genesis that we're all made in the image and likeness and out of God. That all that this presence that we call God is, we are. In fact, we contain every idea God has ever thought. It's in every one of us, as that song says. It's in every one of us to be wise. Anyway, I can't sing as well as Carol, but there's something coded in us that we're here to be an extension of in our own life. There's one apostle, Paul, who said in Philippians that the Spirit of the living God who began a good work in us will bring it to completion, provided that we're open and receptive to it. And I've always interpreted that to mean that we're here to continue where the Spirit of God has left off. So in today's terms, in this topic, we're here to add a verse. I think we're here to record our own way the melodies of God, the melodies of Spirit, to reveal those melodies on earth through ourselves in our own unique way. We're here to add our own verse to it, so that everything that we think, everything that we do, we realize that is an extension of the qualities of God that have been implanted within us, because it's here already. And it's simply waiting for a consciousness and awareness that's big enough, bold enough, and courageous enough to capture it and anchor it in form in our life. I was simply reminded of an article I read many, many years ago. And, someone in the first service had even given me a whole book that I can read about this that expands upon this idea. And it's about a scientist who had taken the cells from the organs of the body temple. And they converted these cells into mathematical equivalents, and then converted these mathematical equivalents into musical notes. And he discovered that the great songs of Bach and Beethoven, that the great songs of love were already encoded in the DNA of our body temple. That the great songs of peace, the great songs of upliftment and transformation and inspiration were already part of our being. It was already in the vibration of the universe. And the great composers and the great writers simply attuned their ears to this vibration of this universal song and converted it into music, converted it into lyrics. I say that to say this, that there is a universal song of oneness. And it's being sung and is waiting for us to get in pitch with it so it can move through us. In other words, the work has already been done in the mind of God. Our role is to catch it and get in tune with it and express it in our own unique way. You know, I think I shared a story about the great entertainer Michael Jackson, who, really made his transition way too soon. And they shared the time that he was, working really, really hard, staying up all kinds of night and day in and day out, almost working without ceasing. And then one of his advisors said, why don't you, take a break? And he said, no, I can't take a break, because, it's like late at night is when I get in tune with all the ideas that Spirit has for me, and so I can't stop. And he said to Michael Jackson, well, I'm sure that if you just took a break, just stopped, it'll be there when you came back. And he said, Michael Jackson said to his advisor, he said, you just don't understand. If I take a break, then God will give all these ideas to Prince. They were kind of like friendly rivals with one another. But of course, there's no limit to the songs of the universe that are available to us. And that relieves us a lot of burden to try to make things happen into our life. All we need to do is get in tune with it. So we ask, how can we do this in our own life? How can we attune our ear? How can we become this finely tuned instrument that God has created to be in tune with its song? Well, I think we must realize that we're not merely here to think of ourselves on a temporary experience between birth and when we shuffle off the mortal coil. But we realize that we're here to have an adventure with the presence of God, moment by moment, always have an encounter with this presence. And so, whether our circumstances may be challenging at any given moment, sometimes they're heavy, sometimes they're light, sometimes the circumstances are disturbing and upsetting. But when we get in tune with that universal song, we will not try to get out of any challenge. We'll not hide from any problem. We'll look to have an encounter with the presence of God and then add our own verse to be the solution to the challenges that we face. In the stories that I was catching up on, there was a husband and wife team, David and Charlotte Wilner. And they were impacted significantly by, what had been going on with what they presumed to be the breaking up of the families, and who were seeking, the children were breaking up from their parents and from the parents who were seeking refuge. And on some level, I think they believe that God's compassion really reigns on everyone, and they were here to add their verse of compassion in their own unique way. In other words, they were going to try to continue where God left off. And maybe they understood what something the Dalai Lama said, that those who practice compassion shall be the radicals of our day. And so they started a fundraiser on Facebook, and their hope, their dream, their vision was, hey, maybe we could raise, $1,000, $1,500, and we can help some person. But they had tuned into something bigger than that. And people started donating $2,000 to $4,000 a minute. The next thing they know, that GoFundMe had raised $5 million. And then eventually, the last we checked, they had raised $18 million, the largest fundraiser in the history of Facebook. In their own way, they were adding their verse to this compassion. They were adding their verse to the compassion of God in their own unique way. And we can tap into that at any time. I think this here lies the mystery of real spirituality, even mysticism. That we live in something that's uncaused. We really can't explain it. It's always there. And the moment our attention is lifted into the frequency or to that vibration, or in this case, the universal song of compassion for this couple as they did, something shows up in our life. And oftentimes things will happen and we may ask, how did you do that? But the reality is they did not do it. They simply got out of the way of what was already being done by the presence of God, and they simply added their part to it. This is what spirituality is all about, not really stopping or preventing our good from taking place. All of our spiritual work is simply removing our misconceptions about life, our misconceptions about other people, that is blocking the realization of our oneness with this presence. You know, we shared, Paul was reading about our Q card, our Q work, and, we do it individually and collectively. It's really about identifying, the lesser parts of ourselves, the shadow part that does not represent who and what we really are. But to really bring it to our awareness so that we realize that is not the truth. And oftentimes it stems from the belief that, we're not enough, I don't have enough. And maybe we've accepted it on some level, and because we've accepted it, it starts blocking the realization of who and what we are. But we realize that we can release that to the nothing from which it has come, never to exist again. Therefore, we can begin to add the verse that Spirit has started so we can continue where God has left off. I think when we understand that there's something for us that we can allow to take over our life, then we realize that we can't use spirituality to succeed. Sometimes we often get stuck there. I've gotten stuck there earlier on in my understanding. To make it happen, use the laws of mind action to bring about the materiality we want in life. And that's okay because sometimes we need that. But we don't want to stay there. There's something greater where we allow ourselves to be used by the spiritual idea. It's common to look at the consciousness that's rising up. And people are praying and they're meditating and we're going to workshops and reading books. And oftentimes we try to use the spiritual idea to succeed, but really this can't be done because a spiritual idea is already there. It's looking for us to be used by it. So that those who are pure in heart, as Jesus said, 100% in alignment with their purpose, they realize that they're here to demonstrate the ideas, to demonstrate the principles, to demonstrate the qualities of God. Because we are the ones that bring about God in this world. And I imagine that's what Jesus was saying when he said, you can't add a new piece of cloth to an old garment. Because that which is used to fill it up, you end up making it worse. You make the rent worse. In other words, we can't take a spiritual idea and add it to our old lifestyle. We must make our lifestyle totally spiritual so we're in sync with that universal song. I just look at my own life that, when I was seeking to get my life together, then I would learn a little bit about these spirituality principles, and I would take a little bit of spirituality and sprinkle it into my life. A little bit here, a little bit there, hoping to make our life a little bit better. But the reality is that we don't want to do that. We want to make our whole life spiritual so we don't confuse the presence of God. So I think in adding a verse to what's ever going on in our world, we don't want to use spiritual principle. We want to be devoted to it. We want to demonstrate them. We want to be the place that we show it forth and be the extension, be the addition of the verse of this song that the universe has for us. And I think as we move into the world today, this is the new definition of success. To be of service to an idea, to be of service to a spiritual principle. This is the new definition of success. And then we find out that everything else is added to us. Because bound up in the spiritual idea is abundance and prosperity, unbounded energy, health and wholeness and vitality and vigor, understanding and the ability and willingness to forgive ourselves and others and to see things rightly. To be of service to a spiritual idea. No matter what the challenges that we may face, whenever we're of service to a spiritual idea, something changes in us. We are transformed, and those who cross our path as well are transformed. And I think about the story of the man who was born blind. And Jesus was asked by some people around him, who made the mistake? In other words, who sinned? Who got off track here? Was it this man or was it his parents? And I think that was an indication that there was a belief in reincarnation. But they asked Jesus, who made the mistake? Who messed up? And Jesus said, neither. The man was born blind in order to demonstrate the resurrecting power and love of God in his life. He opened himself up to a greater song of the universe. He was going to add his verse to what appeared to be a challenging situation. And I think in order for us to really add a verse to this universal song, we have to ask ourselves or say to ourselves, we never say to ourselves that I don't have enough talent. Instead, we will say, I will use the talent that I have. Because we've been given so much talent, so much capability, so much energy that we can never use it all in a single lifetime. And our gift to God is use as much as we can in a single lifetime. My wife's grandmother, who since made her transition but lived to be well into her 90s, she would always say that, I'm going to wear out, I'm not going to rust out. And so she'd be up at 5 o'clock in the morning cooking us some nice biscuits with butter and all the great things for breakfast in the morning. And I used to be thinking, man, she's up and I haven't even thought about starting my day. Get on the ball, James. And there was a gentleman who didn't think he had any talent at all. But he did. He had this gift that he had the sense of smell that was heightened, that was way more than the average person. And he didn't know what to do with his life. And then somebody came with the idea that, you could be an individual who could start helping people develop new fragrances because you had the ability to determine how they really smelled by other people. I don't know how it'll work, but all I know is that he created a whole business, and I stayed at his house, and he had all of these different products on the walls of fragrances and stuff I don't even know about. And he made hundreds of thousands of dollars, and he was able to use all of that to support what he thought was important to make a difference in the world. He used what he had. He used what he had. And I think when we use what we have, we evoke the law of increase. Ralph Waldo Emerson says something to the effect that those who have the power. Those who are waiting to get the power, get the talent, get the capability, will not have it. But if we use what we have will begin to increase. So we have to say yes to the presence of God. We have to say yes to the talents that we've been given. Sometimes people claim they're confused about life. They don't know what to do with their life, but realize that sometimes we do that because we may not want to yield that much power, take on that responsibility, but God is giving to us for a reason. Maybe we've succumbed to the fear of success. But as someone said in one of the scriptures, God did not give us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power and love and a sound mind. That's who we truly are. And when we begin to capture that, we add our own verse to the melody of the universe, the melody of God. One of my teachers or mentors said I should wake up every day and ask, who are you today? Or rather, do you know who you are today? And, I look in the mirror sometimes and I say, okay, that's me, all right. But what he's saying is that, you're never some accidental happening that is unfolding and evolving into a higher state of consciousness. That higher state of consciousness is causing us to evolve. That's what's really happening. It's not that we're evolving to a higher state of consciousness. The state of consciousness that we call God is causing our evolution. It's causing our transformation, and we want to be part of that. And so when you see a person that's truly in God and adding their own verse to the universal song, we see a person that's free and spontaneous, in love and in joy, because they're free in the Spirit. They're not rooted in their history, not rooted into the belief systems that are around them. They're just into spontaneous goodness that is there for us all the time. And they're not involved in a lot of doubt and worry and fear. That's not their lot in life, because they know it's not normal. In fact, it's abnormal. What is normal is the instinct to live and be the expression of God in our own unique way. I think when we study our genesis or study our roots, which is of God, which is of this universal song of oneness, and we keep our attention there, our entire life experience, when we're trying to make things happen, whether it's making money, healing the body, getting the right relationships, things sometimes we really work hard at trying to make happen, those things will become second nature when we're in tune with our roots as a connected presence of God. And when we place our attention on that universal song of oneness that we are, we'll accept the higher possibilities of our life, not trying to make it happen, but making it welcome. And we'll look up one day and everything will be working together for our good. So we're here to add our own verse to the melody of the universe, the great melody of good that's already there. And we anchor ourselves in that, not thinking that we're here something that's just transitory, going to be here today and gone tomorrow, but we're eternal. And understand that we don't let anybody fool us. That's not just for the specially chosen people, because all of us have been specially chosen by God for a particular purpose. And so as we allow ourselves to be used by an idea, waiting to serve it up, and we catch that idea through our silence, through our prayer, through our meditations, through our sacred service, something will happen to us where we realize that we're here for God more than anything else. Not only are we changed, but the world begins to change. We realize our oneness. We show compassion for everyone around us because we are one in the Spirit. And we simply add our verse to the song that's already there. And that's the name of that tune. Peace and blessings to you. And on cue, our music team is coming right on back. I don't know how they do that. They have the sixth sense of some way, shape, or form. And as we prepare for our gifts, our tithes, a love offering, and if you've given already, know that you're in a flow of something that is unlimited. And we realize that we cannot outgive the presence of God. And as we give, something comes back to us in ways we never imagined. It not only supports this community as we prepare for those who want to come for their own realization of their oneness with God and with each other, but we make a difference in the greater community in our world. And as we are lifted up, so is everyone else. So with that, let us symbolically raise your gift to the heavens or ever-expanding good. And let us say our offertory blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
I'm getting, okay, I'm getting excited. That's a cool beat, y'all. Oh. If I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word won't be in vain. Y'all can dance if you want to. Come on, let's go. Hey, if I can do my duty as every person ought, if I can bring back beauty to a world abroad, if I can spread life's message that the masters taught, then my living shall not be in vain. Then my living shall not be in vain. My living shall not be in vain. If I can help somebody as I pass along, then my living shall not be in vain. Shall not be in vain. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Woo. That's the brown, y'all. Hey, hey, hey. Then my living shall not be in vain. My living shall not be in vain. If I can help somebody as I pass along, then my living shall not be in vain. Shall not be in vain. Oh, living, then my living shall not be in vain, y'all. Hey, hey, you gotta help somebody. Hey, yeah. Oh, oh, shall not be in vain. Shall not be in vain. Shall not be in vain. Woo!
Carol Manson.
Our living shall not be in vain. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, ushers, for collecting the offertory this morning. And just next week, we'll be talking about the cosmology of freedom, spiritual freedom. And we're going to do a summer series in a few weeks, starting June 8th. Make Me an Instrument is going to be based on a book by Eknok Eshwaran, who had a retreat center here in California. And we're going to talk about Make Me an Instrument. So if you want to buy the book, I think it's available in the courtyard. So we bless the tithes and offerings, knowing to bless the givers on all levels of their being as we go forth, multiplying the all good and being the instruments of the presence of God by adding our verse to the universal song of oneness. So it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Let us sing our peace song. Let
There be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth,
And now,